Hello and welcome to 52 Coffees podcast. I am Cindy Williams, your host, and I am super excited to have you here today because we have a special guest. Now, every week I have on an extraordinary woman who is living an exceptional life and advancing daily, achieving her dreams. But today I have on someone special, so we're making an exception. And I want you to know that 52 Coffees podcast is sponsored by Lead My Life, which is a dynamic coaching community platform for women who are just ready to unlock the life of their dreams. So if you want to check that out, go to leadmylife.com. Today, and really all month long, we've been talking about wealth in a whole new way, talking about wealth of health, wealth of time, wealth of relationship, wealth of money. And today we're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about wealth of relationship. And so I invited on my better half, my hubby of almost 33 years in December, Todd Williams. And we are going to talk to you today about marriage. So Todd, why don't you say hi?
Well, hello. Thank you for having me on your podcast. No, I'm actually excited to be here with this. This is good. I listen to what you do from the other room normally, and I keep my mouth kind of quiet, but I do hear. So I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I thank you for being a good sport and being willing because I know we've been married for 33 years. And at the very beginning of our marriage, we would pray a lot about, Lord, just help that our marriage would be impactful to other people, that it would be an example to other people. And I feel like it's taken 33 years, but God delivers on those promises. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Um, I was getting my hair done, and I don't know if you remember this. This is a couple years ago, but I was getting my hair done, and there was a woman in there, and she's older, she's probably in her 70s or 80s. And she was talking to her hairdresser, as we do, because we lay our souls out to our hairdresser. And she was telling the woman that her marriage, that they were just roommates, that they took on separate trips, separate lives, separate bedrooms, that everything was separate, and they were happy just being roommates. Do you remember me telling you this?
I do remember that conversation, and I remember how that looked, and yeah, we had some good conversations regarding that.
Yeah, it made me really sad, but it also kind of got me thinking that that's not just an isolated incident. That's marriage is in crisis in our country, and a lot of, especially that whole empty nest season, the 40s, 50s, 60s, that's like the most growing number of divorces is in midlife. And so I just wanted today, I want to talk about our marriage. Some tips. I mean, we don't have it all right, but we have done some things well, and we've discovered a few things along the way. So I wanted just to, kind of give some of what we've discovered that works well for us. So let's talk about our faith. And how we've kind of both over time grown together. How do you see faith in our marriage? How has it grown?
Yeah, and I don't even know if for me that I like to use the word faith as much as I do relationship. Uh, our relationship, it's really a picture of, it needs to be, and I believe it is a picture of Christ and the church, where he's the groom and the church is the bride. I see it as a relationship because one of our first dates, what was important to me needed to be important to you. And okay, where do you want to go? Well, we're going to church. That was
Yeah.
that was important to me. And as we grew in a relationship, that became important to you. And
Hmm.
I saw that. And if I can't start on that same foundation, rock versus sand, then it becomes unstable.
Hmm.
And not that we didn't struggle with it, but we went to church and we would go to Sunday evening. We would go to studies. We made that part of our life from the very beginning. We built off of that foundation.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm going to just pause right here, which I can because he'll edit it out. But I just realized you're gonna laugh that my the battery's dying. So just a second.
This is
A
part of
brief interruption. And
this is
so
part of what we go through. This is so us. I'm starting fully charged and you're starting empty.
I know. All right, hold that down. I want you to know that's never happened before. And
Okay.
not on recording one of these. So you make me just be more unprofessional. That's just how you are. So resuming.
Yes.
Resuming our thought. So
We're
we
resuming
did,
that.
yeah,
Go ahead.
we did want to start out on the same page. But we've been married for 3 decades, right? For 30, almost 33 years.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of couples, they start out and they're just so gung-ho on fire, and there's always going to be an ebb and flow. There's always going to be maybe somebody who's stronger in their faith, and the other one's weaker, that and then it switches. And I think we saw that in our marriage. We started out, I started teaching at Calvary right away, and I got really involved with that and having Bible studies, and I felt for a while I was stronger, and then I came home and you just really took off on your faith. So you want to talk on that a little bit?
I would say again, my faith has been something from a young kid. I remember 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I always had a desire for the things of God, that relationship. I remember, I don't want to use the word crying out, but just understanding and knowing that he was there, he was real, and my life encircled around that. My faith grew, my understanding grew.
Yes.
As I progressed. And that's probably why I always distinguish it. My faith never changed in who he was, because my faith was not something that was built on nothing. My faith for me was always built on knowing and understanding and diving deeper to better understand, to seek out knowledge. And Scripture tells us to seek out knowledge. I don't know that my faith changed as much as my understanding of who he is, and it brought that. And my faith is strong, but it's really based on working through things. It makes it even stronger, because I see it as I study, but I also see it as I look back over these 33 years and what he's actually done in our lives.
Yeah.
And just the fact that, for me, that he brought you into my life, that has amazed me. And it's amazed me that have we been able to stand on the same rock, the same foundation, and grow over time. It really has. And I took off only in the sense of heart desire to learn and understand, because of the times in the late 90s and early 2000s and the things going on in the church didn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
You were involved in Calvary, and you were growing in a different direction, not a different direction, a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. More relationally. And I love that you make that distinction, because it's true. Our faith has never faltered. And I think that's a really good distinction. There's been points in time when one of us pursued it more strongly than another. And I think like layers of an onion, we talk about that a lot, where one of us is just really diving in and just really wanting to grow and get stronger. And when I came home to take care of the kids, it was like all I could do to just pour into the kids and the family. And I gave up some of the routine things that I was doing to strengthen my faith. And one of the things that I saw you doing, and I'm going to say it was probably, early 2000s, I saw you starting this habit of getting up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. every day. And you were opening your Bible and you were going to town. you had questions, you had things that you wanted to find answers to. You had your two friends, Dave and Dave.
Right.
And you guys are batting back and forth, asking questions, and you were just like a Berean in there, just diving in. And at that time, you want to talk on that for a second? Because that was a cool phase. Or
Well,
not just a phase.
and it's a phase that continues today. I'm always the type, the more logical type. I mean, I look during our counseling before we got married. I know
Mhm.
we'll probably touch on this in a little bit. He was like, we took the exams. He looked at them and he looks and goes, "Oh boy, Cindy, you're kind of more on the emotional side. I thought more like needy side." No, I'm kidding there. But
Probably.
and he kind of goes, Todd. He slaps me across the face basically and says, "All you do is think logically and deep."
Mhm.
And during those times, back in the late 2000s, and we had all this stuff like the church was kind of preaching the world's ending and la 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 la, and I just didn't know that what I was hearing really lined up, and it caused me to start digging deeper into the scriptures to better understand from the different perspectives within Christendom.
Yeah.
And it just led me down roads of study. I started not buying into some of the stuff that was being taught about world's ending, end times, those kind of
Yeah.
things. As
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And as I watched you grow in your faith, I had a season where I kind of took a digger because we were going through some tough things relationally within the family, um, with another family member. But I watched you and I watched your diligence day after day after day. It's gonna make me cry. I can't cry. For years. And for years. I mean, I had a 10-year period of time, as you know, that it was hard for me. And your faith and your studying and your growing eventually led me to that point where I started sneaking out and sitting next to you at 4 a.m. Do you remember?
oh, you did, and even to this day, it's first thing in the morning for both of us.
Mhm. So now we're at a point where it's like we're out there together at 4 a.m. and we're opening our Bibles and we're studying together. And I think for the really the first time in 30, 3 years of marriage, it's like we're thriving together. And so when I see midlife, oh, marriages are crashing in midlife, I'm like, no, this is an opportunity. You have a little bit more time now. The kids are gone. This is your opportunity to further strengthen that bond and to grow in your faith and to do something with it. And so it's exciting, but starting that habit with you of getting up in the morning early and opening our Bibles and we have our coffee together and you sit there and read. At first I was interrupting you and bothering your Bible hour. But now it's a sweet time. I journal and do all of that I do and we banter, questions back and forth. But how would you say that that's affected our marriage?
Something as I look back, I guess, on our marriage, how does that affect it? I'm going to take it back to the beginning. We first off, yeah, we started going to church together, but there are other things we started doing together. We were riding bicycles together and we were always going hiking together. We were doing something together all the time.
Mhm.
And what we did, especially within the hiking, we talked the whole time.
Mhm.
Looked at things. We talked about scripture. We talked about things going on in our lives. Talked about prayer needs, different people, family. So we already grew into this had this foundation that we were talking. Now, for me, my deepest moments of thought, and you know me, I wake up first thing in the morning and I'm just like, I'm 100 miles an hour. And by 2 o'clock, I'm like, don't talk to me because I can't see straight. I'm tired now.
Mhm.
But then when I was studying and seeing things and trying to connect dots, you would be sitting over here next to me, bringing in really because of your love for women, lead my life, and what you were doing. You knew how to minister to take what I was learning, talking about, and start presenting that to the, your heart, the ladies that you care for so much, other
Yeah.
people. And we've been able to go back and forth on that and start growing together. Now I look forward to you being out here because I get into text and you take that and you define the words and say, this is how this looks in the world today. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I love doing that.
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah. Yeah. And we, just started, we've been talking about doing this for years about, we should do a home church. We should do a home fellowship. We should have people over. And, how many times do people, keep saying those kind of things and then you just never act on it? So a month ago, we took the plunge and invited a couple different people over. And that I've always kind of looked, oh, I don't want to give up my Sunday, or I don't want to, but that's when we go hiking or that, but it's been such a joy to have people into our house to tag team teach with you. You teach the deep theology stuff and I'm able to teach the practicality and that's been really fun.
Well, and it's for me, there are so many complexities in scripture where the church is divided. And I like to take the complexities and really make them simple,
Yeah.
simple to understand.
Yeah.
So someone can actually go in and see a picture
Yeah.
in their mind. And I like that because we get out, and that's what I like about what we do. We work through things every day, and we
Yeah.
are on the same page, the same foundation has just grown. It's kind of like that First Peter 2:5 or something, being built up into a spiritual house as living stones. But we keep been building that house for a
For
long
a long
time, and
time.
it
Yeah.
has grown, and that house has become full of I think. Not sure right word to say it. I don't want to say knowledge and wisdom, but just the ability to have an understanding to present to others that want to understand.
Yeah.
Not
Experiences.
only understand, but have needs that need to be met
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. 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 So I think that, we've established that with couples, you've got to have some kind of foundation in faith. If you don't have any place to put your feet, that it's so difficult to come together. That's our grounding stone or rock right there. But let's talk about a little bit of advice that we got on our wedding night from Pastor George's wife. She came up to us. I think they were recording video. Everybody had to say something, a little bit of advice. And Sherry and Rhea, she said, you too, don't let the sun go down on your anger. I was like, oh, haha, funny, funny. How has that played into our marriage? That's like the number 2 point. Don't let the sun go down on your anger.
It's that Ephesians 4:26 verse, and really it kind of starts off with, it's okay to be angry,
Yeah.
but don't go to bed angry and upset. And I realized, as I overheard her, she was talking to you.
I was a bit of a hothead, not gonna lie.
I'm kidding. She was talking to both of us, Uh, you know, yes, we got angry many times, especially in that first year of our marriage. And, during our premarital counseling and exam we took, he was kind of like, the two of you are opposite. And I'm like, yeah, okay. She's good looking and female, and I'm not, and male.
That's all
Okay, I
I
kind of
need.
get it, George. But what I realized there in that first year was, yeah, we got angry. In fact, there were a few times, I saw you kind of turn green like the Incredible Hulk. No, Hulkstress
I was the
in
whole
female
Chris.
form.
I had
And I
some
go,
anger
I'm gonna,
issues. Yeah.
yeah, I go, I'm gonna die here. But what I realized was, when you got angry, I'm the one that made you angry.
Mm.
I started realizing I'm the one that made you angry. And the more angry you got, and I'm thinking to myself, not logical. So I stop and I go logical. Like George told me, I had that problem right there. I made you more angry.
Mhm.
And really what kind of changed, as you know where I'm going with this one, when we were going to church one day and we actually were in my mom's Via car, and we had just had this, I don't know why some of the biggest fights always happen when you're on your way to church.
That's
I always
so
wanted
true.
to be,
We
I
have a
always
lot
wanted
of
to be
stories about
early.
that.
Yes, I always wanted to be early. You were always good at being late.
Or on time. My time.
And so it was something, anyways, it was just dead silence. And I tell you what, the silence was, it really, it was like a knife
Yeah.
there. And you did something, you reached over and you grabbed my hand and you looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." And I'm kind of like, why did she have to say that? Because I realized right there, I was the one being the idiot. I was the one making you mad. I was the one really looking only after my needs, what I wanted, whatever was happening. And I kind of started realizing, and I kind of taught this in the prisons later, because that taught me a huge lesson about love.
Mhm.
We're all interested in saying, especially when you first start dating, you get married, "I love you. I love you too." Okay, that's nice. But what does that mean?
Mhm.
What does love mean? And I would tell the guys in prison, I go, it feels good to say I love you. But love is more than an emotion. It's actually an action.
Mhm.
Okay. The feelings kind of come and go.
Mhm.
If I'm going to base love upon those feelings, the relationship won't work because we'll say, well, I guess I don't feel in love
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. It's gone.
Okay.
That loving feeling's gone.
And you showed me that that love was an action.
Mhm.
It's Here it is. It's in like Mark 10, somewhere right in there, that Jesus came to serve,
Mhm.
not be served, to serve.
Mhm.
And what did he do? He washed the feet of Peter. And he's a picture of marriage to the church.
Mhm.
So I would tell them in the prison, love is an action. I'm committed to go out and do the right thing. I'm to support my family. I'm to have a job. I'm to be there. And what I kind of started learning from that also is that the things that may have irritated you because that I would do, we learned to actually start serving each other's needs,
Mhm.
and a relationship changed.
Yeah.
Really changed at that particular point because our love for one another wasn't based any longer upon the feelings, but the action of serving their needs, and then your needs get met.
Mhm.
I do, and we kind of do that today. How
Yeah.
we do dinner, how we do
Yeah.
things. If you make dinner, I'll do the dishes.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Or I'll
so
chop the veggies and you grill the meat because we know what a good griller I am. Yeah.
so she
Something that
said,
go
"Go
ahead.
ahead."
Well, I was just gonna say, you said something too about that you made me mad, and something that I've really realized just probably in the last couple of years with my own personal growth is that nobody can make me mad. I have to allow that myself. That's a choice for me to receive that and be angry about it. And, I just wasn't at that point of maturity. Obviously, I had grown up being kind of a hothead and getting angry easily. And you were so passive and so calm. And but we worked it out and we learned that important lesson. Don't let the sun go down on your anger, even if you have to stay awake for 3 weeks. But we figured it out. Yeah, and so I remember sometimes we would just go to bed holding hands, and I'd want to squeeze the lifeblood out of your hand because you made me angry, but we would work it out, and your calm demeanor has made me calm. And I love that. Over time, it's balanced out. So, what would you say? Another thing that I think is really important. We talked about this is laughing together. What part, that'd be number 3, just learning how to laugh together. How has that helped our marriage relationship, do you think?
Well, I learned first off not to laugh when I poke the bear. You know,
No, there is a time and a season for laughter. Don't poke the bear.
laughing is healthy.
Mhm.
I've always loved to just laugh and have, because it's healthy, and we laugh together. We
Mhm.
laugh at things.
Mhm.
You know, I laugh when we watch a romantic movie, and you will be glued to the TV, and you'll be going, "Oh," and you don't even know I'm taking pictures of you and sending them to our daughter, but you'll be crying. And I take these, and Megan is like, "Oh my gosh, poor mom." And then, but we look at those things and we
And we
laugh.
laugh. And we laugh.
We have fun with it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And,
It's
every
dissolved so many stressful situations with, I mean, just within our marriage, within our family, just being able to kind of step back and look at things and go, okay, don't take myself so seriously on this one, and allow us to laugh a little bit. Plus, you know what? We both had dads, both of our dads had big laughs, and an interesting fact for those listening is both of our dads, within a few hours of each other, um, one had a stroke, my dad had a stroke, and Todd's dad had a heart attack. And those were some hard times, 2018. But I think both of our dads shared that laughter. I can hear your dad right now. Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's Richie Steiner, and my dad's 6'8", and that's one of the things that I admired most about their marriage, their lifelong marriage, was that they were always able to laugh. So I think that's an important point.
we have enough to be in our everyday in relationships and with family and the passing of loved ones. We have enough to mourn over,
Mhm.
and everyone has a story that causes grief and
Yeah.
mourning. But you have to remember the good things of those relationships and to be able to laugh at the good memories. You're going to
Mhm.
miss the individual. You're
Yeah.
going to have tragedies in our life, and tragedies really, we need to learn to be thankful for them because
Mm.
they cause us really to seek God.
Yeah.
They really do. If we didn't have things, if everything was just going along smooth, hunky dory, so to speak, we would just go on and just say, okay, thanks, Lord. But no, we truly, and many people truly have real reasons to bend their knee and seek God, because where else are we going to go?
Yeah.
You know,
There's
he,
nowhere
God,
else to go.
I always said to myself, where else am I going to go? It's kind of like Jesus when he said to Peter, and they all left him. And he goes to Peter, what, you going to leave too? And he goes, no, because you have the words of life. And in John 10:10, he came to give life and life more abundantly. And quite frankly, that includes laughing
Yeah.
with the morning.
Yeah.
There's seasons
Yeah.
for all these things, and laughing is healthy and important.
Yeah.
Every time I fall down on my bicycle, I like to have a good laugh.
Yeah, and you can't see his t-shirt, but Todd has had 3 crashes in the last year, one of them very serious, and his t-shirt says, "I don't crash, I do random gravity checks." So I'm not sure if I'm laughing over that yet, because I've been the caregiver of your 3 accidents. So anyways, yeah, so laughter, definitely number 3. A cheerful heart makes good medicine, and I think that's true. There's so much like physiologically going on there too with laughter, with our reducing our stress rates and being able to breathe and all of it. It's just let's laugh, let's smile, let's enjoy life. So on that note, I think number 4, and we've talked about this list, is I think it's so important to find something fun to do together, and something where you're kind of somewhat at the same level, you know, that you can actually go out and recreation. So let's talk on that for a minute. Do you remember, well, first, before we do you remember what my very first present was that you gave me when we got married, Valentine's Day?
I believe it was a red Cannondale bicycle.
Yes. And it was almost like if you could have done like a prenup, it would have been that it was mandatory that I not only could ride a bike, but that I loved it. I don't know if our marriage would have lasted. So besides the faith, we had cycling. So to talk on that a little bit.
You know, that we were still in that first year of our marriage, and we were out, and that it was so neat to see you riding the bicycle alongside of me. But I did something where I would get you upset on the bicycle because I was doing something ridiculous. And you would get mad at me. And I said, don't let the sun go down in your anger. And you were like, you're
Whack.
like, we're like, the sun's still up, buddy boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it was because I was so competitive. Uh, and you were always, you were just always going to be stronger than me. Always. You still are. I mean, of course, you're a man, you're lean, you're fit, and you've been cycling a long time, but that was really hard for me. So we had a few incidences.
But what it did, you also found other people to ride with. You sought
Yeah.
out other women. You you started doing some bicycle races.
Yeah.
We did bicycle races together. It- you got upset maybe if I pulled away from you on a climb or something like that because you were so competitive that you wanted to beat me and that bothered you. But what you did is that you found people that were really ladies. You kind of started riding with some, and then you started doing your own. You really came into your own with the bicycle. Then you added running to it. You added
Mhm.
triathlons to it. I wasn't doing any of that. I got to come and watch you and support you. And when the big waves hit, I'd come out when you were drowning and really.
I didn't like the big waves. I didn't like the big waves. I always did struggle with finding women that I enjoyed riding with because not a lot of women like to do the road bikes. But I think what happened, the big transition for me was just realizing that I was I was skilled in my own right and I was a strong writer, but I am a woman and I'm not going to be as strong as you. And what a joy, how awesome is it that we get to ride together because not a lot of wives are able to ride with their husbands. And so it was like being able to change my mind about being thankful that we're able to go out together. Now I mean we rode on Saturday, I think. I'm still competitive. I still struggle with that, but it's such a joy that we're able still 33 years later, able to ride together.
And we're doing it now because we enjoy it. And we're still going out and we're pushing. Yeah, I might go and we rode up into La Cresta and out to the pump station, and there's a lot of hills. Just the
Mhm.
fact that, yeah, I mean that we're doing them, but that I may go do them and come back and ride back up with you
Yeah.
some. That doesn't bother you anymore.
Yeah.
And I like to do it because I like to come back and do the hill again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we do those things and we come back and it just makes our day. It
Yeah.
starts our day off really good.
Right. Right. I think about when did some triathlons and I even got you to run a marathon with me and you really helped me raise my my PR time up. But signing you up on your 50th birthday to do the half Ironman. And that was fun. I mean, that was a hard go for us, but that was fun. We have something that we do that we're a little more equally matched, and with the hiking,
Mm.
yeah, and going. You want to talk about Colorado at all?
Well, it's been part of what we do together.
Hmm.
Again, as you mentioned earlier, our foundation started off going to church and enjoying the outdoors.
Hmm.
And even when we had our family, we were going off into Colorado and we were not only biking, but we started hiking. We started doing some 14ers. You became the rabbit, and I had to keep up with you. You amazed me. You were like not a thoroughbred, but a quarter horse out of the gate. And then you turned into the thoroughbred, as the laps continued around the track, and you pushed me.
Hmm.
I mean, I would come in my own right, and then I would push back, and
Hmm.
we had
Yeah.
fun doing that.
Yeah.
That's something we were a little more equally matched on for sure.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that because we were equally matched. So I enjoyed at least having something to do that I could possibly be ahead of you for a little bit. And that just felt good. That satisfied my competitive nature.
What was said on we would go up on mountain peaks,
Hmm.
13,000 foot, 14,000 foot, and we would sit at the very top of the peak together, and we would have lunch, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
Yeah.
maybe put our arms around one another, and we would just look out and say,
Yeah.
this really just enjoyed having these things that we did together because it gave us life.
Yeah.
And we could look out really and be thankful to God for just the fact that he has made life possible
Yeah.
to enjoy right here, right now. And how do we enjoy that now? We take that step forward, and as we talked earlier, back taking my hand, we serve each other's needs, and we find something in common that we enjoy, and we go march forward in
Yeah.
that life
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. And I really think, because we're still doing that today, and I'm so thankful, but I think having that fitness together, having that healthy lifestyle together, that's what's kept us young and flexible and being able to still go do these things. And, I just pray that, we're able to for as long as God will let us. But it's such a message to continue living that healthy lifestyle and doing it together. So what would you say to the couple? Because I know we know lots of couples who maybe aren't, haven't been practicing that kind of lifestyle for, for their whole life, and they want to get into something now. What would you recommend?
I see guys, first off, my age, I've already had the hip replacements, the knee replacements. I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, it's not really about what you, and I've learned this from you. It's not about what you can't do. It's really about what can you do, and then
Mm-hmm.
what can you do together.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a walk down the street. It could be a drive. It could be whatever it is. I always tried, for me, I think it's better if you can make it with something that has some sort of activity in it. Look, I see people walking past our homes darn near blind and with a cane,
Yeah.
with the really dark glasses on and
Yeah.
canes and walking their dogs.
Yeah.
And they could easily say, I'm not going out because I can't do that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you think you can't.
Yeah.
Our minds give up before our body does. Our minds are weaker than our muscles.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get strong muscles, you got to get a stronger mind, because it's really always easy to say, I'm not going to do that. And it's always difficult to say, yeah, I'm going to go do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
I
have
think
to say,
just recently we've started, just after dinner, instead of turning the TV on, just going and walking around the block maybe for, half an hour or what. And that's really enjoyable in the evening. Or we walk down to our favorite restaurant for dinner on Friday nights, and just finding alternate ways that are moving, getting out and moving, and we get to talk and enjoy each other the whole time. So there's always something that you can do. So yeah, just focusing on that. What can
yeah,
you
hey, why jump in the car to go 1 mile to a restaurant? You know what? Walk to the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that now for probably the last year or longer.
Yeah.
And we normally now we just walk.
Yeah.
We walk
It's,
from our home, Old Town Murrieta, or wherever it is we want to go. And it gives us time to talk. It gets our stomach flowing, our muscles. And then by the time we leave, if I'm tired, by the time I get home, I've already walked another mile to
yeah.
get home. And
Yeah.
it can be done.
Yeah. It's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. Well, I want to, the very last thing that I want to talk about, because this is something that I never even considered for our marriage, and we never even really talked about this at all, because we've been small business owners, for the majority of our marriage, really, all of it. And we've had the time when the business owned us, and we're just nose to the grindstone, just every day, just taking care of the kids, taking care of the family, doing what was right in front of us. And we never really sat down and said, what's next? What's possible? To dream for our marriage. And that all changed real recently. I've kind of been on a journey with my coaching and things like that, but just recently, we went to that Life Surge event, and we started dreaming for our future and stuff. Do you want to kind of speak into that a little bit?
Uh, Going to Life Surge and being in and finding something new. I need to replace income right now, but it's time for a new adventure. It's just time for a new venture.
Yeah.
We got to meet a lot of strong Christians that are also looking for a new way to add income into their life, but do it in such a way that it helps help those that may be in need,
Yeah.
looking at it that perspective.
Yeah,
It's really
just
what I call the
further the kingdom of God, just using
yes.
wealth to make an impact on the kingdom of God.
Yeah,
And
so it's
I
given
just
me an opportunity to see maybe a different future when the business having that business, it owned me. I
hmm
felt like no one could do it but me. It
hmm
was always a struggle. It tried to go away on vacation, and my phone was always along my side to take care of issues and problems. And now it's yeah, I don't it's a change. What
hmm
and it's exciting to see a different future. It's a little scary because I don't know what the future looks like.
Yeah, none
I'm
of
gonna
us
have to
do.
learn something new now and get out, and I'm nervous that I don't have the talent for that. I don't want to cold call people. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do
Mhm.
that. But it's again, what do I need to do to succeed in something new?
Yeah. Well, and it's just it's new opportunities, it's new adventures. It's we're leaving on June 17th, and on Sunday. Really, actually, when this airs, we'll be on the road to Colorado, and we've got the Starlink, so I can do my Zoom calls on the road, and we've gotten some different things where we can take what we're doing now on the road. And we're starting to dream in kind of a whole different way than we never have before. So that's kind of exciting.
Well, to be determined because I'm taking you in a little tent pop up thing behind my Jeep. No hotels for you, young lady.
I know it will be a whole different adventure. We'll see if I survive it. Normally I like the motor home or going to the cabin, but this will be, yeah, 3 weeks on the road. So we'll see how it goes. But it's exciting to have things to look forward to be gaining momentum in life and not just plateauing and sitting by the sidelines of your life and just watching everything go by. I don't think either one of us are equipped to do that.
I think also one thing I hear often that I'd like to mention, especially with guys my age, younger and older, is as soon as I complete this, then that
Mm,
in life, I will study my Bible better. I will start eating better. Those days will never come.
mm,
You have to make it part of your lifestyle. We made it part of our lifestyle. I didn't say it's easy. We
mm,
still, just like anyone else, it's every day can be a struggle, but we can't say I'll do that later. I'll
mm,
study later. I'll start eating better later.
yeah,
Just one more day of doing this or whatever it might be. And I would just, that's where we get stuck in the mud, the quagmire, and we don't get out of it.
yeah, yeah. Today's the day. Today's the day. That's such a good point. That's so true. And we all do that in different aspects of our life. But I think, we just had that conversation just a few days ago regarding different people, and it's just you have to do it now. If you commit to it. Remember we talked about commit this morning, it means to roll, to release. Release it to God, go with it, commit your life and go forward in adventure and enjoy what God has for you. So, well, thank you for coming on and being willing to talk with me about our marriage. That was a lot of fun. That was a first. That was a first. So if you enjoyed today's podcast, if you want to listen to more, please subscribe. Follow me on leadmylife.com. Go check it out. And we hope to see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.